Wednesday night shiur. It's our first shiur of the year. We're back. And our shiur is L'Refuat Shlema Leah Bat Margarita Ve'ubara. May Hashem send them Refuat Shlema Ve'ave Karov. Today's also the yahrzeit of the great Rav Shach. The great Rav Shach. The father of yeshivot, of the modern day yeshivot. He was considered the Rosh Yeshiva. And we're going to mention him today, because today's his yahrzeit. He was a very big tzaddik. Politics aside, he was a very big tzaddik. And put the audio. And today is a special week. It's Parshat Vayera. Vayera elav Hashem merolem amret. That's it. Avraham Avinu is a full-fledged Jew. Parasha starts off. We all know Avraham Avinu just got a brit milah. And Hashem comes to Avraham on the third day. Why on the third day? The Ran says on the third day it hurts the most. Quotes the Gemara. It hurts the most. Comes on the third day to Avraham. And he comes to visit him. Why? Bikur cholim. To visit the sick. The Gemara asks a question. How come the 8th blessing in Shemona Esrei is Rofeh Choleh Amo Yisrael? Hashem should send refuah, healing to Am Yisrael. Why is it the 8th blessing? So the Gemara says because really all the diseases shouldn't be. They're all man-made. The only disease, the only sickness that needs healing is the one on the 8th day. And that's a brit milah. Because in the future when Mashiach comes, the only thing that will be left, the person will be sick from is what? Brit milah. And that's why the blessing for Refuah Shlema is the 8th blessing in Shemona Esrei. So Hashem comes to Avraham Avinu, and the Gemara says that Hashem took the sun out of its sheath. As if the sun has a sheath, like a sword goes into a sheath. He took it out, and the day was blazing hot. It was blazing hot. No visitors. And Avraham Avinu is in a tent. I always had this question, what did it help to make it so hot that day? Avraham Avinu, he's hurting. There's no air conditioning, there's no fan, and you're making it blazing hot. At least put a little wind for him. Of course, it's secrets of secrets. It's not just Hashem took the sun out of its sheath. The Gemara says that same sun is the same sun in the future. Hashem will take out, and the Rishaim will get burnt by it, and the Tzaddikim will be healed from it. It's a special kind of Kabbalistic thing that's going on over here. And Avraham Avinu speaks to Hashem, Vayera elav Hashem, and the Ari HaKadosh says in Shar Pesukim, on the get-go, the first line of Shar Pesukim, Vayera, that the words Vayera elav makes up the name of God, Uriel. It's a certain Malach Hashem, Uriel, Ariel. And the Ari HaKadosh says if a person wakes up in the morning, and I believe he says it 252 times, this name, Ariel, 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 or he goes from the mikveh and he says it a certain amount of times, on Shabbat I'll say more about it, he'll have Hatzlacha the whole day. It's Ari HaKadosh. It's not under the water, when he comes out of the mikveh, don't be fanatic, okay? Under the water. So Hashem comes to me, there's Ari HaKadosh like this, yeah. It's Hashem Kadosh, not just a name. Ariel is not the name of an angel. Uriel is the name of an angel.
It'll take 2 minutes.
Yeah. Uziel is the name of an angel. Yeah. Ariel is the name of Yerushalayim. It's the name of the Beit HaMikdash. Ariel, the Lion of God. And we know there was a lion that came down to eat the korbanot. If it was worthy. If it wasn't worthy, God forbid, it was a dog that came down. And Hashem comes down to speak to Avraham. And Avraham Avinu is in pain. Not because it's hot outside, not because of anything, because he doesn't have guests. You see, when a person is missing his essence in life, if he doesn't know what his direction in life is, it's the worst kind of suffering. The worst kind of suffering. Avraham Avinu has no direction because for him, a day without doing chesed is not Avraham. What's the point of being Avraham if you can't do chesed? Am I right or wrong?
That's right.
It's like you're telling a general to be a stay-at-home dad. This guy fights wars and you're telling him to be a stay-at-home dad? You're telling a doctor to be a lawyer. The guy can't stay home. The guy needs guests. He needs guests. You think Hashem doesn't know that? So why does Hashem have to put him inside the despair? Avraham was in despair. I'm sure he didn't feel the Brit Milah. I'm sure he didn't feel it. The guy is 99 years old. For a little guy, he doesn't feel anything at that age.
No.
It's numb. It's naturally anesthesia. He's 90. Hashem comes to him, Avraham. He says to him, he's talking to him, Hashem sees that Avraham Avinu is not listening to his lecture. He doesn't want to speak to him. Could you imagine Hashem comes to you to speak to you and you're not interested in him? Hashem says, you know what, I'm going to do this guy a favor. I'm going to send him 3 guests. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Avraham Avinu with a Brit Milah. 3rd day, he's sick, gets up, runs to see them in blazing heat. He comes, he takes them, he takes the calf. He says to his son, take the calf. He shechs it himself. The Zohar says that the calf was really one of the angels, Raphael. It was the Malach Raphael himself. It turned into a calf, and Avraham Avinu was running after the calf. It was running away, he's running, till he finds what? Ma'arat HaMachpelah, the cave of doubles. That's where Adam HaRishon was buried. Mm-hmm. And Avraham Avinu, he's sick. He's running. He can't feel what's going on. He's numb from the waist down. He's numb. He's running. He's 99 years old. He got a surgery just now. One of the worst surgeries. It's one of the. There was once a guy. There was a TV show. I didn't watch it. I was told about this. It's called Going Tribal. Don't YouTube it. It's about this guy. He was an English commando, something in the English army, and he goes. And he goes to like these weird tribes in South America, Africa, and he tries to be like them. So in one of the episodes, I was told that there's this tribe in Africa that circumcises themselves at the age of like 15.
Like the Arabs.
Yeah, no, Arabs do it today really younger, but this is a certain tribe in Africa. So he's for the ratings, he's got to try it. So on the TV show, this guy's a commando in the English army, 007, James Bond. This guy gets circumcised. The second, and this guy's 30 years old, he's not a 99-year-old. The second he gets circumcised, he faints. He just, from the pain, it's total, utter, he just blacks out for like a week. He just blacks out. Do you know what the kind of pain that is? It's the most sensitive part in the human body. The guy goes numb. Blacks out for a week. Avraham Avinu, on the 3rd day, he's running after a calf to do Hachnasat Orchim. Not only that, he gets mustard seed. Makes some nice salatim. It's Bukharsky. He makes salatim, seri puri. He takes chema'ah, butter, fresh butter. You ever taste fresh butter? I tasted it in Ukraine. Remember fresh butter? Amazing. Fresh. Everything fresh. Sveji.
Natural.
Avraham Avinu would not serve the same food the next day. In his house, there was no refrigerator. Why? He didn't need one. He didn't need any. That same day, he was finished all the food. He makes the butter. He tells Sarah, make the bread, make cakes, make a dessert, chocolate souffle. Sarah right away does challah, this, that. She makes the chocolate souffle. All this on the 3rd day, the B'yotam Kovim, when it hurts the most. I want to ask you guys, what does Hashem want from us? Is this what Hashem wants from us? He wants us to be Avraham. What does Hashem want? The Gemara says sometimes God makes tzaddikim suffer. He makes them suffer because He wants them to pray. Where does it say that? The Gemara says, how come Sarah, Rivka, and Rachel, also Leah by the way, they were all barren. They couldn't have children. The Gemara says because God wants to hear their prayers. Whoa. That's what Hashem wants from us? Hashem wants us to be like Avraham Avinu when it hurts the most to go, what's going on over here? What kind of, Hashem, what do you want from us? What does Hashem see in us? I was in Kollel, came back to Kollel after going to Israel, give a chalakeh to our son. We were in Kollel, and there was a certain fellow there, tzaddik, and religious guy. He went to yeshiva all of his life. Right now he's a guy who works in the city. He does well. And he was telling me, I was in Israel for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. I met Talmidei Chachamim over there. Chai, what these Talmidei? What do they do? What do they do? They knew all the Kabbalah, and they knew all the Gemara, and they knew all the I asked him, is that what Hashem sees in you? When Hashem comes in the future, and when Mashiach comes, all the Jews are going to go crazy to meet him. What's the first question we're going to ask Mashiach? You couldn't get a car? You had to go on that donkey? How long does it take to come, for the love of God? All the Jews are going to jump. We want to see Mashiach, no? Do you want to see Mashiach? We all want to see Mashiach. We want to see the Redeemer, right? We want to see who he is. What's all the hype about? You think everybody's just going to jump like that? There's going to be shamashim. There's going to be guys waiting by the doorway. Hey, where's your pass? Who gets first pass? The guys in the yeshivot? The guys who know all the Gemarot? Who gets pass? Who gets the first pass? What does Hashem see in us? We know what we see in Rabbi. When we get a hype over a rabbi, over somebody, what's our hype in another Jew? Oh, he knows so much, he's so smart. What do we want our kids to be? You want them to be smart, right? The smart ones, they get the good jobs, they go to the good schools. I want them to be smart, handsome. When Shmuel HaNavi, the prophet Samuel, when he came to find a king, when he saw the first son of Yishai, he saw him, his name was Eliav. Oh, he said, this is Mashiach. Why? He was tall, 6 feet, 6'5", handsome, nice beard. He was a soldier. He picked up the jar, the oil disappeared. Hashem says, you see outside, I see inside. Don't give it to him. Why? He's an angry person. Angry people have no place and sit as a king. If you're angry, you don't get the spot. You don't get the job. If you're angry, you don't get the job. So what does Hashem see in us? That's the topic of our shiur. What does Hashem see in us? What does Hashem want from us? We're starting off the year, Cheshvan. This is right now. This is the Ikar Avodah. Why does Hashem send Cheshvan after Tishrei? What does Hashem do to us? Tishrei is the 1 month it's jam-packed of holidays. Maybe there's a week in there with no holidays. But the whole month we don't say Tachanun. It's all like a Yom Tov. It's like a Chol HaMoed. It's like Chol HaMoed. Then what do we come after Tishrei? Cheshvan. What's Cheshvan? Utterly nothing. Zero. Zilch. Chanukah is in Kislev. How do we go from a month where everything is Kadosh, Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, Shofar, fasting, everyone's in shul wearing white, and suddenly we go to a month when there's utterly nothing. Go down. Spiritual decline, spiritual descent. We're descending down. Why does God do that to us? What does Hashem want from us? What does Hashem see from us? What does Hashem want us to be? How do we get that pass? How do we get a pass to go into Mashiach? To see Mashiach, to see Hashem. I was reading a story about the student of the Chafetz Chaim. His name was Rav Moshe Sokolovsky. It took me a while to remember that name. To even pronounce Sokolovsky. There is a street in Cholon called Sokolov Street. This is Sokolovsky. Rav Moshe Sokolovsky. Big Talmid Chacham, huge Talmid Chacham. He was the Chafetz Chaim's the primary student, one of his primary students. And everything the Chafetz Chaim did, he used to copy. If the Chafetz Chaim would wear socks to the knees, he would do that. Chafetz Chaim would wear a long coat, he would do that. He got a Russian hat, one of those casquettes, he did that. Everything Chafetz Chaim did, he did. I remember, when we pray Shemona Esrei, what do a lot of people do? They shuckle, right? They shuckle back and forth. So one day, I was in the kollel and I see one of my friends, he stopped shuckling in the Shemona Esrei. Stop shuckling. I said, why did you stop shuckling? He said, I was learning the Kaf HaChaim. Kaf HaChaim says, when a person prays Shemona Esrei, he shouldn't move. Wow. You're standing in front, yes, fine. You're standing in front of a king, you have to stand with trepidation. Wow. You're not allowed to move. I said, what do you mean? Shemona Esrei. What about all the tzaddikim? He said to me, did you know that even the Lubavitcher Rebbe wouldn't move during the Shemona Esrei? I'm like, what are you talking about?
Well, it's like natural.
It's like natural. What do you mean? Everyone does it. He says, no. The big tzaddikim, they used to have control over their bodies. So I want to be like them. When you have a Rebbe, you naturally want to copy him. He has a small hat, you want to get a small hat. He has a small beard, you want to get a... You want to do what your Rebbe does, because you see something godly in him, so you want to copy him. Right? Because you want to be like him. Right? Am I wrong? So this Rav Moshe Sokolowski wanted to be exactly like his Rebbe. It's natural. Hasidim, if their Rebbe one day wears his peot out, suddenly you're going to see the next day, they're all with their peot out. If he wears white stockings, they're going to wear white stockings the next day. That's what they do. And it's true, you want to be like your Rebbe. Chafetz Chaim had a certain minhag. He used to take a couple of minutes a day to memorize Mishnayot. Mishnayot. What the Gemara is based on? Mishnayot. The oral Torah. Why? Mishnayot are very easy to memorize. They're like 3 lines each. If you're stuck in a place where there's no books, so you could, by heart, just say Mishnayot. Once Rav Ovadia Zechet whose yortzeit was not long ago, his 5th yortzeit, right?
Yeah.
And he was giving a very big drasha in London when he was Rishon LeZion. In London. He would say a line, and then the translator would translate it in English. This is a big auditorium in front of thousands of people. And the translator realizes, while he's translating, he sees the rabbi's mouth moving. So he puts his ears close to his mouth to hear what he's saying. But this rabbi, what is he? Is he possessed or something? He goes to his ear and he sees he's reciting Mishnayot. In the middle of giving a speech between the translator and him saying, he's saying Mishnayot. Not a second of Bitul Torah. Chafetz Chaim was the same thing. So Rav Moshe Sokolowski also wanted to be like his Rebbe, so what did he start to do? Learn Mishnah by heart. And I guess he used to do, back then there was no cars. So everything was horse and buggy. To go from town to town was like taking a Ukrainian airplane. Suddenly the carriage would break down, this, that. It would take a 2-day trip to go from town to town. One day he was on his way to Radin in Poland to meet his Rebbe. And he's on the carriage. It was like, there's regular Uber, then there's Uber you could share. What do you call it? Carpool Uber? Yeah. XL it's called. So he was, I heard the story was a horse and buggy. So he was on the carriage with a lot of other people. Ama'aretzim, Burim, this, that. And this one is talking about the politics. This one is talking about the Bechirot, the elections in Israel. This one is talking about business. And he's sitting over there, tzaddik. He has no books. Because back then, to have books was very expensive, especially paperback carrying with you. He's sitting over there, he's reciting Mishnayot, and he's happy. Why is he happy? Everyone is over there doing Devarim Betelim, and he's sitting over there saying Mishnayot. And he's saying Mishnah after Mishnah after Mishnah. One Mishnah turns into a parak. One parak turns into a masechet. One masechet turns into a sidra. And he's just spitting them out. He's like bullets. And he's chadei. He's happy. Let's say in Arabic, chadei. B'derech Hashem. He's so happy. Suddenly, his tongue gets stuck. He forgot one of the lines in the Mishnah. He can't believe that was a gaon. How could he forget a Mishnah? He's trying to remember the Mishnah. He can't remember. His tongue is tied. He can't get the next word out. Doesn't know why. And he's going crazy over there. What's the next word of the Mishnah? Can't remember. He can't. He's finished. He's over there, Tisha B'Av, in the middle of the carriage. Everyone's like, in the Russian they say, Rabinov. Rabinov, you lost your mind. You crazy kook. Why are you sitting there? Let's talk, sing, drink. Everybody there has their, bottle of, it's cold in Poland. They used to take out their bottles with them and drink this. This guy's Tisha B'Av, he's fasting. He can't remember the Mishnah. Suddenly the carriage stops. We're taking a half an hour break. We have another 8 hour on the Kadaska, the horse, and everyone go to the nearest inn, eat, drink, and we're going to be on our merry way. There's no shul. There's one inn owned by a Jew, Bur v'Ama'aret. The guy can't even say Kaddish. He doesn't say Yitgadal v'Yitkadash. He says Yitkatal v'Yitkadash. That's how he says it. The guy doesn't know how to read even. Can't say Kaddish. He goes he says, listen, Rabbi Yid, do you have a sefer over here? something that I could learn, because he got so depressed he couldn't remember the Mishnah. He said, I don't want to learn from by heart anymore. I want to learn from a book. Give me a book. Give me a Tehillim. The guy says, listen, this is a hotel. Over here we eat, we drink, and we kaif. There's no books over here. You want a book? Go to the nearest Beis HaMedrash. He says, where is it? He says, 10 miles south. 10 miles south? This is going to guys, leave in half an hour. He says, listen, over here, no books. But he goes to the side. He doesn't want to eat, doesn't want to drink. A Jew without Torah is a fish without water, the Gemara says. It's a fish without water. The guy, the owner of the inn, is a Jew. He sees he's sulking on the side, doesn't want to eat, doesn't want to drink. He says, I remember when my grandfather died, he left me the inn. He gave me as an inheritance also a very old, musty book. Maybe if I could, I'll find a book for you. He gets up. He was about to say Shechianu. He was about to say Gomel. He goes upstairs to the attic, gets the book. For the love of God, what book that he was missing? The Mishnah, he couldn't get the word out. What hashgacha pratid? It was as if he got the Torah from Mount Sinai. Rav Moshe Sokolovsky, that day was his birthday. What hashgacha from all the books in the world? What was the one book this guy's grandfather gave him? The same Mishnah that he couldn't say. He goes to Radin, he goes to his Rebbe, the Chafetz Chaim, Tana Katan. He goes, Rebbe, you know what happened to me? A miracle of miracles.
I said that.
He's Ashkenazi, not Sephardi. He wouldn't say that. He says to him, Rebbe, you know what happened? Such a miracle. The book that I needed was the book. Chafetz Chaim said, He started to sigh. He says, Rebbe, why are you sighing? A miracle just happened to me. Dance with me. Dance! Chafetz Chaim says, what's going to be after 120 years? We're going to go up to Shamayim. Over there's no books. What's going to happen? They're going to tell us, open your mouth, say what you know. What's going to happen then when we're tongue-tied? We won't have any books. All of his kaif.
He just bursted his bubble.
But look how the Chafetz Chaim was thinking. How do we think? And how the tzaddikim think? Imagine how Hashem thinks. In Shamayim there is no library. It's called Torah Sheba'al Peh for a reason. The oral Torah. What are we going to do in Shamayim when we don't remember the Girsah? What are we going to do? We can't say, wait a second, I got to go to the bathroom and take my notes out, like in the middle of a test. There's nothing like that over there. Either you come ready or you don't come ready. Everyone comes prepared. Either you prepare yourself or you don't. That's what the Chafetz Chaim saw himself. The Ben Ish Chai, while he was in jail, he wrote a whole book. The Ben Ish Chai, while he was in jail, he wrote a book. He was there for 30 days. He wrote a book. Could you imagine sitting in a musty jail cell with rats running around, no AC, no thing, in the middle of a Baghdadian desert? Could you write a book? And he wrote it by heart. They once told the story to one of the great Rosh He says, that's the best place to write a book. Nobody bothers you over there.
No way.
How do we think and how does tzaddikim think, Rabotai? Now how does Hashem think? What does Hashem want from us? I want to read you a Gemara. Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in the Braita. Le'olam, forever. Yehe Adam rach kikane, va'al yeh kashe ke'erez. A person should be bendable, flexible, like a bamboo. Like a reed. A reed in the water, you could go, it already bends. Va'al yeh kashe ke'erez. You shouldn't be hard like a cedar. Cedar wood is one of the hardest kinds of woods. Don't be hard like a cedar. Be soft. Be flexible like a reed. Maaseh, there was a story, the Gemara says. Sheba Rabbi Elazar ben Rabbi Shimon me Migdal Gedor mi Bet Rabo. When I was in Israel, we cut my son's hair by the grave of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Right next to him is the grave of Rabbi Elazar, his son. He was not less than him. He was the greatest Kabbalist that ever lived after his father. The greatest. He's a Tana. He was a lion in Torah. So this Rabbi Elazar, when he was a young boy, he was coming back home from yeshiva, Bein Hazmanim. It was right before Passover. He's coming home. He's on a donkey. And he was on the donkey. Why was he on the donkey? Why does Mashiach come on a donkey, not on a horse? A horse has ga'ava. A donkey always looks down. A horse always looks up. Understand? It's a symbol of humbleness. He was so happy, Rabbi Elazar, that he learned so much Torah that he was, on the beach, on the banks of the river. And he rejoiced greatly. And he was very proud of himself. A great rabbi once told me, don't get too excited. When you learn something new, when you do something in Torah, don't get too excited. That's when the Yetzer Hara comes to test you. Don't get too excited. Why was he so happy? He was excited for a legitimate reason. Why? He learned a lot of Torah. Wouldn't you be happy after you leave a shiur Torah? You learn a nice piece of Gemara. You heard a nice story. You got a little hitlahavut in Torah. Wouldn't you be happy? Would you be happy or no? You're happy. You're connected to the source of life. What happens? Nizdamen lo adam echad she'mechuar beyoter. Who does he meet on the way? A very ugly man. Not ugly, the Gemara says. He was exceedingly ugly. This guy would go in the Guinness Book of World Record for the ugly. You ever see the person who's the ugliest over there? You see, if you want to ever scare your kids, show them that picture. It's such an ugly human being. It's a woman. Really? One of the ugliest things you ever seen in your life. They can make a horror movie out of it. This guy made that woman look like a model. That's how ugly he was. Amar lo, you said to him, Rabbi Elazar says to that guy, I'm sorry, the ugly man says to Rabbi Elazar, Shalom alecha Rabbi, peace be unto you, my teacher. Doesn't know him, says to him, peace be unto you, my teacher. Is anything wrong with that? Nothing wrong with that. Velo echzilu, but Rabbi Elazar was so disgusted with him, he couldn't even look at his face. The guy had like pus coming out of his face, it's disgusting. Amarlo. Instead, he told him, Reka! You empty. You ugly. Kama mechoar oto haish. You're so ugly. Could you imagine? A rabbi, a Tana, this rabbi, he could do Tchiat HaMetim faster than any other rabbi. The son of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. He says, you're so... You couldn't get some plastic surgery? What's going on with you? Shema kol bnei ircha mechoarin kamotcha. Are all the people in your town as ugly as you? What's going on over here? Good question. That's what happens when you get too excited. You lose yourself. Amarlo, the ugly man replied back to the rabbi. Eini yodea. I don't know if the people in my town are as ugly as me. Elalech ve'emor le'uman she'asani. Go to the Creator who made me. And tell him, Kama mechuar kli zeh she'asita. Tell him, why don't you go to the Creator and tell him how ugly is the man that you made? At that moment, his words hit the rabbi like a spear. Like a spear. He tells him back, Kevan sheyada ba'atzmo shechata. Right away, he realized his mistake. He knew he made a mistake. He knew he sinned. At that moment when he said that to him, go to my Creator and tell him, look at the vessel that you made, it's so ugly. You know what he was telling him? You learn Torah. Torah teaches you to look at the inside. Why are you only looking at the vessel? Why are you only looking at the outside? Go to the Creator who gave you the Torah and tell him what kind of Torah he gave you. That you're looking at the outside, you're looking at the chitzoniyut of a person. Right away, Yarad min achamor, he comes down from the donkey. Nishtateach lefanav, he prostrated himself in front of him. The rabbi in front of him. Va'amar lo, and he tells him, Na'aneti lecha. Please, forgive me. Mecholi, forgive me. I made a mistake. I got away, I got carried away with myself. Amar lo, eini mochel lecha. I'm never gonna forgive you. I don't want to see your face. Go to the people of my town. Ask them for forgiveness. I won't forgive you until you go to my Creator and tell him that look at the vessel that you made, look how ugly he is. Once you go to him and tell him that, then I'm going to forgive you. He was running after him until he reached his city. He was on his four. He was prostrating himself after this ugly man. He was on his four running after him, and he was begging him for forgiveness. Yatz'u bnei iro likrato. When the people of the city arrived to greet the new rabbi who's coming after Ben Azmanim, went to the yeshiva, and they were telling him, Shalom alecha Rabbi, Mori, peace unto you, Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon. The ugly guy turns around and tells him, who are you calling Rabbi? So they told him, the guy who's licking the dirt from your feet. This is who you call a Rebbe? If he's a Rebbe, may there be no more Rebbes in Israel. Wow, look at the Chilul Hashem happened over here. Look at the Chilul Hashem from words. He didn't do anything from words. Amru lo mipnei ma. Says, why are you saying this about him? What did he do to you? Look at the musar in this story. Look at the musar. Look how deep the story goes. Amar lehem kach v'kach asali. This is what he said to me, and this is what I told him back. But this is the punchline of the story. Amru lo, they told him back to the ugly guy. Afal piken, even though he did all of that to you, mecholo, forgive him. Mipnei she'adam gadol beTorah, because he's a great man in Torah. Would you forgive him because of that? What do you mean he's a great man in Torah? Even more so I shouldn't forgive him.
You should know better.
Amar lahem, he said to them, Bishvilachem hareini mochel lachem. Only because of you I forgive him. But on one condition. Bilvad shelo yeh ragil la'asot ken. On the condition he never hurts another human being's feelings again. Miyad nichnas Rabbi Elazar ben Rabbi Shimon v'darash. Right away, when he got forgiven, Rabbi Elazar gets up, he goes to the Beit Midrash, he gives a speech. Everybody goes inside the Beit Midrash. What is he going to speak right now? He just got totally embarrassed. He just lost all of his superiority in front of the town people. He lost everything. He made himself into a fool. And he gave a lecture and he said like this, Le'olam, forever. Yehe adam rach kekaneh. A person should be as flexible as a reed. Ve'al yeh kashe ka'erez. And you shouldn't be as tough as a cedar. Lefichach zacha kaneh litol hemna kulmus lichtov bo sefer Torah tefillin umezuzot. Out of all the things we write a Torah with, what do we use to write a Torah with? A reed, not the cedar. The reed has the zechut. Why? Because it's flexible. Forever, le'olam, a person should be flexible. If you see somebody that makes you uncomfortable, don't make them feel uncomfortable. Be flexible. Don't be hard like a cedar. Look at him. We go to a rabbi, we see a rabbi, gives a drasha. Oh, is it Torah? He knows. He could tell you all the Shulchan Aruch, Siman, Seif. What's the Siman that speaks about fish? Hey Gimel, gefilte fish. This guy knows so much Torah. Look how much Torah he knew. Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon. And all that Torah didn't make a difference. All it took was one sentence. He could have lost everything in a chick. And he went inside the Beit HaMidrash and he said, don't be hard as a cedar. Don't throw mara. Don't put poison in people. Be flexible. Accept people. Bring people inside your house. The Gemara here says a story. There was a great rabbi in Israel, in Iraq to be more exact. His name was Rav. He was such a big tzaddik. When he used to walk around, he never used to look beyond 4 amot. Beyond 6.5 feet circumference, he wouldn't look out. He never walked more than 4 amot without tefillin and mezuzah. He was such a big tzaddik. He was the Mara Da'atra of all of Israel. And he was outside of Israel. When he died, there was a question, who's going to be the successor? So they decided to pick a very young man. He was 37 years old, but he was rich and he was one of his primary students. His name was Rav Huna. Where Rav Huna lived in Iraq. The Gemara says, all the houses back then, it's not like today, bricks are easy to make. Back then, to make bricks, you had to work like a dog. Back then, all the houses were made out of what? Trees, wood. If God forbid one house would catch on fire, the whole village would burn down. In Rav Huna's town, not even one house ever got burned. It was like it had natural immunity to fire. It was a big miracle. Everyone thought it was because of Rav Huna, because he's a big man in Torah, right? He's the successor. The Gemara says it wasn't because of Rav Huna. You know why Hashem never brought a fire to that city? When I read this Gemara, I cried. Rav Huna Gadol b'Torah. You know why that city never had a fire? There was one lady, she had an oven in her house. Back then, to have an oven in your house, you had to be rich. And she used to give people to use the oven for free. Yeah? Challah, food, Shabbat, Yom Tov, for free. She could have made money. Every hour, another $40. People used to make money like that. But she let them use it for free. God said, you let people use your fire, I'll make sure there's no fire in your city. Do you see how Hashem looks at people? Do you see how Hashem puts us in what kind of way? Rava asked Rav from Bar Papa, one of the great Amoraim, he asked him, please tell me, what was the good actions, what was Rav Huna remembered for? Because Rav Huna was a great Rav. When he passed away, they wanted to put a Torah next to him to be buried with. You know what that is? To bury somebody with a Torah? This guy was like a living Torah. He says, tell me something about him, what you remember. He says, I don't remember anything about him when he was a young man, but I remember something about him when he was an older man. He says, what do you remember? What do you think he said? That he had a yeshiva with 24,000 people? That he knew the whole Torah? That he had 3 countries that came and asked him halachot? You know what he said? You know what he was remembered for? On rainy days and on very windy days, he would go out on a golden carriage and he would inspect all the walls of the city. Any wall that was about to collapse, he would break and pay for it to be rebuilt. So nobody should die from a broken wall. The Gemara says, that's what he was remembered for? The guy was Gadol B'Torah, Rav Huna. You can't go in the Gemara with 2 pages without seeing his name. The Gemara says, yes. It's not how we look at people. It's how Hashem looks at us. The whole Torah. What is Avraham Avinu remembered for? Bikur Cholim? That he went and he invited people to his house? Hashem says yes! On the 3rd day, the guy can't move. He went out and he wanted guests. That's what Avraham Avinu was remembered for. Guests. Rava once asked Rav from Bar Papa, he says, tell me something about Rav Huna. He says, you know what? I'll tell you something. When he had a party, he used to open up all of his doors. Anybody who wanted to come inside his house, he would eat from his table. Rava said, I could do anything he did, not this. I can't do this. You know who Rava was? They used to tell him hello from Shamayim every Yom Kippur. A bat call would come from us and Shalom Alecha Rava. The whole town would hear it. Shalom Alecha Rava. That's what kind of man. I could do everything Rav Huna did, I can't do that. That's what the Gemara remembers these Rabbanim for. How did you want to be remembered? How do you want Hashem to see you? The year just started. Tishrei ended. Cheshvan has just begun. We just said Birkat HaLevana. Today is the yahrzeit of one of the greatest Roshei Yeshivot that ever lived. Do you know what he was remembered for, Rav Shach? When he was a young boy and World War I happened and he went home, his mom said, go back. There's missiles flying. Missiles. Go back. What would any other boy say? Go back. You go back. I'm staying in the shelter. He had ripped shoes. Ripped shoes. It was freezing cold in the European winter. He walked all the way back to his yeshiva. 50-mile trip. There was no taxis. You go like this in the middle of... That's what he's remembered for. Ask anybody, what do you remember of Rav Shalom? I'll say that story. The shoes. They still till today they have his shoes. Till today they have those shoes.
Somebody was framed.
Yeah. Till today they keep the shoes.
Upstate New York, right somewhere.
Yeah.
That's what they're remembered for. what are we going to be remembered for? It's up to us. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen.